3 maids in 3 days, all fired, all crying at the gates of New York City's most luxurious mansion. The billionaire Alexander Alex Thorne had no patience for incompetence or for humanity. He fired people like he was changing channels on TV, and today, a new victim would walk through that door. But this time, something different was about to happen, something neither he nor anyone in that mansion could have imagined. The doorbell rang at exactly 7 a.m. Mrs. Gloria Johnson, the gray-haired housekeeper, opened the door with a weary sigh. There she was, a young black woman with apprehensive eyes, holding a worn-out bag. Maya Davis was 25 and looked like she was carrying the world on her shoulders. "Are you the new one?" Mrs. Gloria Johnson asked, emotionless. "Yes, ma'am. Maya Davis. I'm here for the domestic worker position." The housekeeper looked her up and down. "Just another lamb going to the slaughterhouse. Come in. But a piece of advice, don't take anything to heart. He's no good. If you manage to last until lunch, it'll be a record." Maya swallowed hard. She needed this job. Her mother was sick, the bills were piling up, the rent was overdue. She had no choice. She walked in. The mansion was enormous. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, paintings on the walls, but there was something strange in the air, a heavy silence. "He's in the living room. You'll introduce yourself now." Mrs. Gloria Johnson pointed toward hallway. Maya took a deep breath. Her hands were sweating. She walked down the hallway to a huge room with floor-to-ceiling windows. And there, with his back to her, was a man in an electric wheelchair with dark, neatly trimmed hair, broad shoulders, and expensive clothes. He was looking out the window without turning around. "Mr. Thorne, good morning." "I am. You're late." His voice was cold as ice. Maya looked at the clock. 7:05 a.m., sir. I arrived at 7 as agreed." 7 means 7, not 7:05. You're already off to a bad start. He finally spun his chair around. 40 years old. A handsome face, but etched with profound bitterness. Dark eyes that seemed to bore right through you. "What's your name?" "Maya Davis." "Maya," he repeated with a sneer. "Different name. Strange. Be that as it may, your duties are simple. General cleaning of the house, organizing the rooms, serving meals, and, most importantly, do not annoy me." "Can you do that?" "Yes, sir." "I doubt it." He picked up a list from a nearby table. "Start with the library. I want all the books reorganized by the author's alphabetical order. And dust every single one. Every single one, understood? There are 462 books. You have until 1 p.m. Maya's stomach clenched. That was impossible. "Sir, I can start today and finish at 1 p.m., or you can leave now." He turned his back again. She clenched her fists. She needed this job. "I'll start now, sir." Alex smirked. Another one who will break, another one who will cry. He had enjoyed this since the accident 2 years ago. Since he woke up unable to walk, since his fiancée left him, saying she hadn't signed a contract to care for a man in a wheelchair. He discovered that making others suffer was the only thing that still made him feel something. The hours passed. Maya worked frantically in the library, going up and down the ladder, taking book after book, cleaning, organizing. Her hands stung, her legs ached, but she didn't stop. She couldn't stop. At 12:40 p.m., Alex entered the library. She was still there, sweating, exhausted, but working. 20 minutes left, he announced. "I know, sir." Maya didn't even look up. She kept working. He stood there watching, waiting for her to break, but it didn't happen. At 1 p.m., she climbed down the ladder, breathless. "I'm finished, sir." Alex looked around. All the books were organized, impeccable, not a speck of dust. The dining room needs to be cleaned. All the crystal washed by hand. Immediately, he left without looking back. Maya leaned against the shelf. Her legs were trembling, but she wasn't going to give up. The day continued like this. Impossible task after impossible task. He invented absurd orders, demanded everything be redone, criticized every detail. From the corner of the room, a woman around 35 watched everything with a satisfied smile. Sarah Miller, a longtime employee of the house. She had been close to Victoria Vicky Price, Alex's ex-fiancée, and hated seeing any new maid trying to stand out. Another one who will fall, Sarah muttered to Rob Jones, the driver. 7 p.m. Alex was in his office when Mrs. Gloria Johnson came in. "She's still here," the housekeeper said. "Ow, the girl, Maya. She's still working. She's finished everything you ordered. Now she's cleaning the kitchen. She didn't even ask." Alex clenched his jaw. "Send her home. That's enough for today." Mrs. Gloria Johnson hesitated. "Sir, why do you do this? Why do you treat them like that?" "Because I can," he said simply, "and because no one is any good. They all give up just like Vicky gave up on me." The housekeeper sighed and left. Minutes later, Maya walked past the office on her way out. He watched her through the slightly open door. She was limping with fatigue, but there was something in her posture, dignity. She didn't look broken, and that deeply bothered him. On her way out, Mrs. Gloria Johnson caught up with Maya. "Girl, are you crazy or brave?" "I just need the job, Mrs. Gloria. No one lasts more than 3 days here. He's been relentless since the accident. Then I'll try to last 4." Maya smiled weakly and walked out into the night. Alex remained in his office alone, looking out the window of his golden prison. That girl was different, and he hated different things because different things reminded him of when he was different too, when he was happy. And he didn't want to remember. Tomorrow would be worse for her, much worse. He would make sure of it. Maya woke up at 5 a.m. Her whole body ached. Her feet were swollen. Her hands had blisters from all the scrubbing and cleaning. She looked at the ceiling of the tiny room she shared with her mother. She could give up. She could look for another job, but there was no other job. Not with that salary, not that fast. She got up, took a cold shower, put on her simple uniform, and looked at her sleeping mother. Ms. Maria Davis was pale. Her cough had worsened. She needed medicine. Expensive medicine. "I will make it, Mom, I promise." Maya whispered and left. 6:50 a.m. She rang the mansion doorbell. Mrs. Gloria Johnson opened it, looking surprised. "You came back." "I came back, Mrs. Gloria." "God help you, child." The housekeeper shook her head. Alex was already awake. He never slept well. The phantom pains in his legs, the memories of the accident, the wheelchair that reminded him every second that he was no longer the man he was. He drank his bitter coffee, watching the garden through the window, and then saw Maya arrive. On time again. Something in him was irritated. She should have given up. "Tell her to come here," he said to Mrs. Gloria Johnson over the intercom. Maya entered the dining room. Alex was sitting alone at the head of a massive table. "Good morning, Mr. Thorne." He didn't even look up. "Today you will clean all the windows in the house, inside and out. There's 63 windows. I want them to shine like diamonds. And then you will wash all the bedding. By hand. The machine is broken." "The machine is broken, sir?" "It is. Is there a problem?" He finally looked at her, those cold eyes challenging her. Maya knew he was lying, but she wasn't going to argue. "No problem, sir. I'll start now." "And Maya," he called as she was about to leave. "Yes, sir. If I see one streak, one smudge, one drop of water not properly dried, you are fired." "Understood. Understood, sir." The hours passed like torture. Maya climbed up and down ladders with buckets and rags. She carefully cleaned every pane of glass. The sun beat down fiercely. She was sweating, but she kept going. Mid-morning, while she was cleaning the living room windows, Alex passed by and stopped. "You're too slow. You won't finish today at this rate." "I'm doing my best, sir." "Your best is pathetic." He approached, inspected the glass she had just cleaned, and ran his finger over it. "See? Smudge. Do it again." Maya looked. There was no smudge, but she said nothing. She took the rag and cleaned it again. Alex stood there watching, waiting for her to explode, waiting for her to scream, but she did nothing. She just cleaned, and that irritated him even more. "Don't you have any pride? How do you tolerate being treated like this?" he suddenly said. Maya stopped and looked at him. "I do have pride, sir. Pride in working, pride in supporting my family. You can humiliate me all you want, but you can't take that away from me." Alex was silent. Those words hit him in a way he hadn't expected. He spun his chair and left without a word. In the kitchen, the other employees were whispering. "She's too strong. No one puts up with him like that," said Rob, the driver. "Poor thing. She doesn't know he only gets worse." The second day is when he truly shows who he is. Mrs. Gloria Johnson shook her head. In the afternoon, Maya was at the washtub, scrubbing the bedding. Her hands stung in the cold water. Alex suddenly appeared. "How much do you make at home? Why do you need this job so desperately?" he asked. Maya continued washing. "I need to help my mother with the bills, sir. She's sick." "Sick with what?" "A lung problem. She needs treatment." Alex was silent for a moment. "And I'm the bank, aren't I? The billionaire who has to save everyone." Maya stopped washing and looked at him. "I haven't asked you for anything, sir. I just asked for work, and I work. You pay, I perform. It's fair." "Fair." He moved closer. "Nothing is fair. Life isn't fair. If it were fair, I wouldn't be in this chair. If it were fair, I would still have my life, my fiancé, my future." Sarah walked by the corridor and stopped to listen. She always did this. She enjoyed watching Alex humiliate the new maids. It reminded her of the old days when Vicky was there and everything was better. Maya saw something different in him for a second. Pain, real pain. But she didn't say anything. "Finish that up quickly and then clean the ballroom. It's been closed for 2 years. It must be full of dust." He left. The ballroom was enormous. Noble wooden floors, mirrored walls, a grand piano in the corner, everything covered in dust and white sheets. Maya started pulling off the sheets and then saw the photos on the wall. Alex, younger, smiling, standing next to a stunning blonde woman. Photos of parties, trips, happiness. A completely different life. Curiosity is a sin. Alex's voice came from the doorway. Maya spun around, startled. "I'm sorry, sir. I was just looking. My past life. The man I was before the accident." He rolled into the room. "I used to throw parties here, dozens of people, music, dancing, laughter. Now it's just a tomb. You could start throwing parties again, sir." He looked at her with bitterness. "Throw parties so everyone can pity me? So they can look at me with that face? No, thank you. People don't. You don't know anything," he exploded. "You don't know what it's like. What it's like to wake up and not feel your legs. What it's like to be abandoned by the one you loved because you're no longer good for anything. What it's like to see everything you return to ashes. Vicky, my fiancée, she said she didn't marry me to be a nurse, that the agreement was different, that she deserved someone who could still walk by her side. 3 months after the accident, she left, took the jewels I gave her, and left me here in this chair, in this prison." He ran his hand over his face. "So, yes, I treat you badly because I can, because it's the only thing that still makes me feel like I have some control. Satisfied?" Maya took a deep breath. "No, sir. I'm not satisfied because you're letting her win." Alex looked at her, stunned. "What? That Vicky? She broke you, and you're letting her. You're living in a prison, but the prison isn't the chair, it's the one you built for yourself. You are punishing yourself and punishing everyone around you. How dare you?" "I know what pain is, sir," Maya interrupted him. "I know what loss is. My father died when I was 15. Suddenly, a heart attack. My mother became depressed. I had to quit school, quit everything and work. And you know what I learned? That we can choose to stay in the pain or to move on. You have money, a house, everything, but you chose to stay trapped in the pain. I have nothing, but I chose to move on." Sarah, listening from the hallway, rolled her eyes. "This one will last even less than the others," she thought. Alex was paralyzed. No one had ever spoken to him like that. No one had ever had the courage. "Get out," he said quietly. "Sir, get out," he shouted. Maya left the ballroom, her heart pounding. She had gone too far. She was going to be fired, but she had to say it. She had to. Alex remained alone in the ballroom, looking at the photos, looking at the piano, looking at his dead life. And for the first time in 2 years, he wondered, could she be right? That night, Maya left in silence. Alex didn't appear again, but she knew. Tomorrow would be the end. Tomorrow he would fire her. At least she had spoken the truth. Sometimes the truth was the only dignity left. Maya didn't sleep that night. She stared at the ceiling, thinking about the words she said, thinking about Alex's face. He would fire her, she was sure. But even so, she got up at 5 a.m., got dressed, and went because giving up was not an option for her. 6:50 a.m. The doorbell. Mrs. Gloria Johnson opened the door and her eyes widened. "Girl, you must have a death wish after yesterday." Did he talk to you? He didn't need to. We heard the screaming. Leave while you still can. I can't, Mrs. Gloria. Maya walked in, but today was different. Alex didn't appear. No absurd orders. No humiliation. Mrs. Gloria Johnson merely told her to do the routine cleaning. Maya worked in silence, nervous, waiting for the guillotine to fall. Sarah appeared in the kitchen. She's still here. Impressive, but she won't last. None of them do. Sarah, leave the girl alone, Mrs. Gloria Johnson scolded. I'm not doing anything, just observing. She smiled and left. 10 a.m. A luxury car stopped in front of the mansion. An elegant woman of about 60 got out, with black hair and some gray streaks. The posture of someone who always had money but never lost her class. Dark glasses, expensive purse. Eleanor Thorne has arrived, Rob, the driver, announced. Maya was cleaning the hall when the woman walked in. She looked at Maya and smiled slightly, a sad smile. Are you new here? Yes, ma'am. Maya Davis. How long have you been working for my son? 3 days, ma'am. Eleanor Thorne let out a humorless laugh. 3 days. My God, you must be strong. Alex emerged from the library. Seeing his mother, his expression hardened. Mother, I didn't know you were coming today. If I had, I would have invented some excuse. She took off her glasses. We need to talk. I don't have time. Alexander Thorne, I am your mother, and you'll make time for me. Her voice was firm, loving but firm. He clenched his jaw. Library. 5 minutes. They went in. Maya continued cleaning, but involuntarily, she overheard the heated conversation. You can't continue like this, son. Like what, mother? In a wheelchair? I have no choice. Like this, bitter, cruel. You are destroying yourself. I'm already destroyed. Since the accident. Since Vicky. Vicky was a gold digger. She never loved you. And thank God she left before the wedding. She loved me when I could walk. No, Alex. She loved your money. She loved the idea of being the heir's wife. But she never loved you, the real you. And now you are using that as an excuse to be horrible to everyone. A heavy silence. Maya stopped cleaning. How many maids have you fired this year? Eleanor Thorne continued. 20? 30? You treat them like garbage. You humiliate, you yell. This is not my son. The Alex I raised was not like this. That Alex died in the accident. A lie. He is still in there, hiding, afraid, but he is alive. Her voice broke. And I need him back because this version of you, this version is killing me, son. Maya felt a tightness in her chest. She knew that pain. The pain of a mother watching her son lose himself. The library door opened. Eleanor Thorne came out with tears in her eyes. She saw Maya there. She stopped. You, Maya, come here. Maya approached nervously. Yes, ma'am. How many times has my son humiliated you in these 3 days? Maya hesitated, looking at Alex, who was at the library door, watching. Answer honestly. He won't fire you. I guarantee it, Eleanor Thorne said. Many times, ma'am. And why didn't you leave? Because I need the job. My mother is sick. I need to help with the bills. Eleanor Thorne looked at her son. See? She has the same problems as everyone else, but she has dignity. She endures because she is strong, stronger than you are right now. Alex averted his gaze. Eleanor Thorne turned back to Maya. Do you dance? The question caught Maya by surprise. I used to dance, ma'am. In church, at school, but nothing professional. Show her mother. What are you? Alex began. Quiet. Show me, Maya. Dance something now. Maya blushed. But ma'am, I'm working. I can't. Please. Eleanor Thorne insisted. There was something in her eyes, a desperate hope. Maya took a deep breath, looked around. There was no music, but she didn't need it. She closed her eyes and began to move. Nothing too elaborate, just natural movements. Her body remembering times when she had time to dance, to dream. It was simple, but it was genuine. It came from the soul. Alex was paralyzed watching. There was something in that dance, something pure, something he hadn't seen in a long time. Freedom. Maya stopped, embarrassed. I'm sorry, I'm not good at this. You are beautiful when you dance, Eleanor Thorne said with tears in her eyes. Absolutely beautiful. Alex remained silent, but something had stirred inside him, something he tried to suppress immediately. Mother, this makes no sense. What do you want? He said curtly. I want my son back. And for that, I'm going to do something I should have done a long time ago. She picked up her phone. I'm going to organize the annual charity event here at the mansion in 2 weeks. No, no events. No people here. It's not an option, Alex, it's an obligation. You are the president of the family foundation. The event happens every year. You canceled the last 2 years, but this year it will happen, whether you like it or not. Mother, and there's more. She looked at Maya. Maya is going to dance at the event. Maya's eyes widened. What? No, ma'am, I can't. Of course you can. You have natural talent, and it will be beautiful. Mother, have you gone mad? A maid dancing at a charity event. Alex laughed humorlessly. A person dancing. A woman with talent. And you will accept it, because if you fire her before the event, I will cut your allowance. Allowance? I am an adult. I am the president of... I still own 40% of the company and can very well convene the board and propose your dismissal for inappropriate behavior. Want to test me? Alex turned red with rage, but he knew. His mother was not bluffing. Good. Eleanor Thorne smiled. It's decided. 2 weeks. Maya, you'll need a dress. I will provide it. And you, Alex, will treat this girl with respect. Because if I hear that you have humiliated her one more time, you'll have trouble with me. Understood? She kissed her son's cheek. I love you, but I need to give you this push. You will thank me someday. Eleanor Thorne left, leaving an awkward silence. Alex looked at Maya with anger. This is your fault. Sir, I didn't ask for any of this. You will dance at this ridiculous event. You will make a fool of yourself. And when it's a disaster, I will laugh. Understood. Maya felt anger rising. Why are you like this, sir? Why do you hate seeing someone try so much? Because trying is useless, he exploded. I tried to walk again. I tried physical therapy. I tried everything, and it didn't work. Trying is a lie they sell us to make us feel better. Or maybe you gave up too soon, Maya said quietly. Alex was speechless. She had done it again. She had touched the wound. Get out of my sight, he said, and rolled his chair away forcefully. Maya stood there trembling. In 2 weeks, she would have to dance in front of rich, important people. She, who had never had a single professional dance lesson. Mrs. Gloria Johnson appeared. Girl, you've really put your foot in it now. I know, but you know what? I'm rooting for you. Someone needs to shake that boy up, and it looks like you're the only one with the courage. Maya smiled weakly. Courage or insanity? I haven't decided which. They both laughed, but inside, Maya was terrified. How was she going to do that? How? The following days were a silent hell. Alex no longer yelled, no longer openly humiliated, but the contempt was in every look, in every dry word, in every sneer when he saw Maya pass by. He knew she was terrified, and that satisfied him. Maya worked during the day, and at night, after everyone was asleep, she secretly went to the ballroom, turned the music on low, and tried to dance. She tried to remember the movements from church, from school parties, but it was different. This wasn't a school presentation. It was an event with rich, important people, people who would judge her. She fell, stumbled, forgot the steps, and started over, always starting over. In the first week, Eleanor Thorne returned with a bag. I brought the dress. Want to see? Maya opened the bag with trembling hands. It was beautiful, a deep red, light fabric that flowed like water, thin straps, elegant but not exaggerated. Ma'am, this must have cost a fortune. It's a gift from a mother to you, because your mother can't be here to give it to you. Eleanor Thorne smiled. How is she? A little better, ma'am. The medicine is helping. I'm happy to hear that. You're a good daughter, Maya. Your mother is lucky. Maya hugged the bag to her chest. For the first time in days, she felt hope, but the hope didn't last long. Alex walked down the hallway and saw the bag. Let me guess. The clown uniform arrived. Alex, Eleanor Thorne scolded him. What? I'm being realistic. She'll get up there, dance badly, be embarrassed, and everyone will pretend they liked it because they pity her. That's how these events work. Maya felt her face burn. You're right, sir. I probably will dance badly because I never had money for lessons, never had the opportunity. But I'm going to try because that's what people like me do. We try, even when people like you say it's impossible. She went up to the maid's room without waiting for an answer. Eleanor Thorne looked at her son. Are you proud of that? Of destroying a girl's self-esteem? I'm being honest. Someone has to be. No, son. You're being cruel. And you know why? Because she reminds you of what you lost. Courage, hope, the will to try. She shook her head and left. Alex remained alone in the hallway, his mother's words echoing. He hated when she was right. The days passed. The event was approaching. The mansion was being prepared. Decorators came and went. Flowers, lights, tables, everything coming back to life. Sarah was loving it. Finally, the mansion had movement again, and she, as the longest-serving employee after Mrs. Gloria Johnson, was supervising the sound and light technicians. She felt important, in control. Are you going to check the equipment before the event? Rob asked. Of course. Everything will be perfect. Sarah smiled, but inside, she already knew what she was going to do. And Alex hated every second of it. One night, he couldn't sleep. It was 2 a.m. He decided to go to the library, but as he passed the ballroom, he saw a light on and heard soft music. He stopped and watched through the slightly open door. Maya was there, barefoot, in a simple dress, dancing alone in the empty room. She would attempt to spin, miss, try again, fall, get up, and start over. Alex stood there watching. There was something in it, in her stubbornness, in the way she didn't give up, even when she made mistakes, even alone, even without an audience. She danced because she wanted to, not because she had to prove something. When was the last time he did something like that? Something purely out of desire, out of pleasure? He couldn't remember. Maya made a beautiful, fluid movement and smiled, proud of herself. And in that moment, Alex felt something strange, something he hadn't felt in a long time. Envy. He envied that freedom, that ability to rejoice in small victories, that life she still had inside her, despite everything. He went back to his room without making a sound, but he couldn't sleep. The next day, Mrs. Gloria Johnson was preparing lunch when Alex entered the kitchen. Does she train every night? He asked. Mrs. Gloria Johnson was startled. Who, sir? Maya. Does she train late at night? The housekeeper hesitated. She does, sir. The girl hardly sleeps. She works all day and trains at night. She's killing herself. Why? Why kill yourself for something that isn't even your obligation? Because she doesn't want to disappoint your mother. And because she doesn't want you to be right about her. Alex was silent. He left the kitchen. 3 days remained until the event. The tension in the mansion was unbearable. Maya was exhausted, deep dark circles under her eyes, hands shaking from fatigue. But she kept going. Alex watched her from afar. And the more he watched, the more something inside him moved. Something uncomfortable. Something he tried to ignore, but couldn't. Guilt. He was being cruel to someone who was just trying to survive. Someone who had done nothing but work, resist, and have hope. 2 nights before the event, Maya was in the ballroom training when she stumbled and fell. She hit her knee hard on the floor. She held back a scream, got up, tried to dance again, but her leg couldn't take it. She fell again and finally broke down. She sat on the floor and cried. She cried from exhaustion, from pain, from fear. I won't make it, she whispered to the empty room. I'm not good enough. Not with this injured knee. Alex's voice came from the door. Maya was startled and quickly wiped away her tears. Sir, I didn't know you. Be quiet. He rolled his chair into the room and moved closer. Let me see. You don't need to, sir. I'm fine. I said let me see. He took out an ice pack he had brought. I've lived with doctors and physical therapists for 2 years. I know an injury when I see one. He carefully placed the ice on her knee. Maya was tense. It was the first time he had touched her, and it was gentle. Why do you do this? Alex asked quietly. Why do you torture yourself so much? Because I need to. Need to prove what? To whom? Maya looked at him. To myself. That I can be more than a maid. More than someone invisible. Even if it's just for one night, one dance, I want to prove that I exist. Alex felt the words strike him in the chest. He knew that feeling of wanting to prove, of wanting to exist. He had just forgotten it. You're training wrong, he said suddenly. What? Your movements. You force too much. Dancing isn't about force. It's about fluidity. Look, he moved his arms from the chair, demonstrating. You do this hard, tense. It has to be like this, loose, natural. Maya watched. How do you know that? I used to dance before the accident, not professionally, but I danced well at all the parties with Vicky. It was one of the things I loved most. He looked away. One more thing the chair took from me. They were silent. Can you help me? Maya said suddenly. Help me choose the music. At least you have good taste. I don't know what to choose. Alex was about to refuse, but something in him gave way. Tomorrow night, come here. I'll help you with the music. Maya smiled, a small but genuine smile. Thank you, sir. Don't thank me yet. If it's a disaster, it's your fault, he said, but without the cruelty from before. He left the ballroom, and for the first time in 2 years, Alexander Thorne wanted to wake up the next day because he had something to do, someone to help, and that made him feel a little less dead inside. The day arrived. The mansion was unrecognizable. Golden lights everywhere. White and red flowers in every corner. Elegant tables in the garden. Uniformed waiters circulating, luxury cars arriving one after the other. Maya watched everything from the maid's room window, the dress hanging behind her, her heart beating so hard it hurt. In a few hours, she would be dancing in front of all those people. Important, rich people, people who would never look her twice on the street. Are you all right, dear? Mrs. Gloria Johnson appeared. Just nervous. You're going to be amazing. I know it. The housekeeper smiled and left. Maya went back to the room. She had a plan. If there was no music, she would create her own. Downstairs, Alex was in his office, impeccably dressed. Black suit, gray tie, neatly combed hair. He was looking out the window, watching the guests arrive. His mother had invited over 200 people, businessmen, politicians, high society. They were all coming to see the reclusive heir, the billionaire in the wheelchair who had vanished from the world. He hated every second of it. Son, are you ready? Eleanor Thorne entered, radiant in a long, gold dress, discreet but expensive jewelry. No, good, because no one is ever ready for these things. But we do them anyway. She adjusted his tie. You look handsome. You're still the most beautiful man at the party. Chair or not. Mother, don't start. I will finish, because you need to hear it. The chair doesn't define you. It never did. What defines you is what you do. And today you're going to do something important. You're going to show up. You're going to show that you are still alive. What if I don't want to be alive anymore? He said quietly. Eleanor Thorne held her son's face, tears in her eyes. Then I will want it for you until you want again. All right, he nodded, without words. 8 p.m. The party was in full swing. Soft music, elegant conversations, fake laughter, champagne glasses. Alex was in the center of the main hall. People approached, greeted him, said how well he looked, how much they missed him. Polite lies. He responded automatically. A false smile, empty thanks. Inside, he wanted to be anywhere but there. Alex, what a joy to see you. A man of about 50 approached. Beer belly, exaggerated smile. How long has it been? 2 years. 2 years and 3 months, Alex answered dryly. Gosh, and how are you? I mean, physically, are you improving? I'm still in the chair, if that's what you want to know. The man was embarrassed. Ah, of course. But new treatments, therapies. I understand. I understand. An awkward pause. Well, if you need anything, we're here, you know? A lie. Everyone there was lying. They came out of obligation, out of appearance. No one truly cared. 9 p.m. Eleanor Thorne went up to the small stage set up in the hall and picked up the microphone. Good evening, everyone. What a joy to have you here on this very special night. As you all know, this is the 20th edition of our annual charity event. And this year, we are raising funds for the Clara Memorial Children's Hospital. Polite applause. But before we start the auction, we have a special surprise, a beautiful presentation, a dance. She smiled. And the person who will be dancing for us tonight is a talented young woman whom I discovered by chance right here in the mansion. Please welcome Maya Davis. Alex froze. This was the moment of truth. He looked at the empty stage, waiting for her to appear, part of him hoping she wouldn't come, that she had fled, that she had given up, because if she got up there and failed, he would have to see it. He would have to swallow the guilt of having said she wasn't good enough. Seconds passed. The music didn't start. Murmurs began in the audience. "Where's the music?" someone whispered. "Technical problem?" Sarah was backstage with a discreet smile. "Mission accomplished." Alex frowned. Something was wrong. He looked at the technicians. They seemed confused. And then Maya walked onto the stage without music. Just her. The whole hall fell silent. She was stunning. The red dress flowed with every movement. Her hair was loose in natural curls. Simple but perfect makeup. Barefoot on the wooden floor. Maya walked to the center, looked at the audience, and smiled. Then she did something no one expected. She started clapping, slowly, rhythmically. Clap, clap, clap. The audience was confused, but some people started to join in. Clap, clap, clap. More people clapped. The rhythm grew, filled the hall, and Maya began to dance without music, just with the rhythm of the claps, of her own feet tapping the floor, of the sound of her body in motion. It was raw. It was primal. It was absolutely beautiful. She turned an act of sabotage into art. She improvised. She created. She showed that dancing doesn't need production. It needs soul. Alex watched with his mouth open. She had turned the tables. She had transformed a disaster into a triumph. After 10 seconds of pure improvisation, the music finally started. Someone backstage, Rob, with remorse, had turned it on manually, and Maya continued, now with music, but maintaining the energy, the courage, the strength. The entire hall was silent, and Maya continued with the same force, the same brilliance, now in harmony with the sound. The entire hall held its breath. It wasn't technical, it wasn't perfect, but it was real. Every movement came from within. Every spin had emotion. She danced like someone who is setting themselves free, like someone who can finally be. Her arms told a story of struggle. Her feet touched the ground with reverence. Her whole body was poetry in motion. The audience was mesmerized. No one moved. No one blinked. 200 people watching a humble Maid transform into art before their eyes. And Alex. Alex couldn't take his eyes off her. Something inside him was breaking, cracking, collapsing. It was like watching hope dance, like seeing courage in human form, like remembering that the world still held beauty. Tears began to stream down his face. He didn't even try to hide them. He couldn't, because in that moment, he wasn't just watching Maya dance. He was seeing everything he had lost, everything he had given up on, everything he could have been if he hadn't let bitterness win. She spun, jumped softly, opened her arms to the sky, and smiled. A genuine smile from someone living the dream, even if only for 3 minutes. The music began to fade, the climax approaching, and Maya did something no one expected. She stopped dancing in the center of the stage, opened her eyes, and looked directly at Alex. For 3 seconds, the world was just the two of them. She looking at him, he looking at her. Two broken human beings, two survivors, two souls that recognized each other. And then Maya did the unthinkable. She descended from the stage, walked toward Alex, the music still playing softly, the audience paralyzed, the hall in absolute silence. She stopped in front of his wheelchair and extended her hand. "Dance with me," she whispered. Alex froze, his heart exploding in his chest. "I can't. I don't." "You can, in your own way. With me." She kept her hand extended, firm, fearless. He looked at that hand, then at her face, her eyes filled with tears, but also with hope. And something inside him gave way. Something that had been trapped for 2 years, something he thought had died. He took her hand. The entire hall held its breath. Alex held Maya's hand. It was warm, firm, real. He couldn't remember the last time someone touched him like that. Without pity, without sorrow, just with humanity. Maya gently pulled. The music continued. She began to move around the chair. Slowly, delicately, her movements enveloped him, included him. She wasn't dancing alone. She was dancing with him. Alex raised his free arm, following her movement in the air. It was strange, it was new, but it was beautiful. The audience watched in absolute silence, some people with tears in their eyes. This wasn't just a dance. It was an act of courage, compassion, and healing. Maya spun, held both his hands, looked into his eyes, and smiled. A smile that said, "You are not alone. You are not broken. You are here. And that is enough." Alex felt something explode inside his chest. All the walls he had built, all the barriers of bitterness, everything crumbled. And the tears came uncontrollably, shamelessly. He cried right there in front of 200 people, in front of businessmen, politicians, important people. And he didn't care because for the first time in 2 years, he wasn't feeling anger. He was feeling gratitude for being alive, for being able to feel, for having that extraordinary woman dancing around him, as if he were worthy of it. Maya felt his tears, squeezed his hands tighter, and continued dancing as the music drew to a close. She made one last slow, graceful movement and bowed her head toward him, a reverence as equals from soul to soul. The music stopped. Silence. 3 seconds of absolute silence, and then the audience exploded. Thunderous applause, people standing, shouting, crying, clapping nonstop. "Bravo! Bravo!" someone yelled. Eleanor Thorne was in the corner of the room with her hands over her face, sobbing. Her son had returned. He had finally returned. Maya was still holding Alex's hands. He looked at her, truly looked for the first time, not seeing a maid, not seeing someone inferior, but seeing an incredible, strong, courageous woman who saved him without even knowing it. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice broken. "You're welcome, Mr. Alex. Call me Alex." He smiled, a true smile, the first in 2 years. She smiled back. "Alex." The applause continued. Maya climbed back onto the stage and bowed. The audience roared. She left quickly, embarrassed by so much attention, but happy, fulfilled. Alex stayed there in the middle of the hall. People approached, congratulating and praising him, but he barely heard them. He could only think of one thing: how a humble 25-year-old maid did what doctors, therapists, and even his own mother couldn't. She made him want to live again. The party continued late, but Maya didn't stay. She went up to the maid's room, carefully took off the red dress, and hung it up as if it were the most precious thing in the world, because it was proof that she had succeeded, that she had flown, even if only for a few minutes. She lay down on the narrow bed, exhausted but happy, happier than she had been in years. Downstairs, Alex barely conversed with the guests. His head was elsewhere. It was in that dance, that moment, that feeling of being alive again. When the last guest left, it was past midnight. Eleanor Thorne approached her son. "You're different." "I am, Mother." It was her, wasn't it? Maya. She showed me something I had forgotten. That life isn't over, that I can live a different way, but still live. Eleanor Thorne hugged her son. "I knew it. I knew you were still in there." The next day, Maya woke up early, as always, put on her uniform, and went down to work as if nothing had changed, because for her, nothing had changed. She was still the maid. He was still the boss. But when she reached the kitchen, Alex was there waiting. "Good morning," he said. "Good morning, sir. I mean, Alex. Sit down, please." She sat down nervously. He took a deep breath. "I need to apologize for everything. For every humiliation, for every cruel word, for having been a monster to you." He looked her in the eyes. "You didn't deserve any of it. No one did." Maya was surprised. "Mr. Alex, let me finish," he continued. "You saved me yesterday. Without knowing it, without wanting to, but you saved me. I was dead inside, and you brought me back with a dance, with courage, with hope." He picked up an envelope from the table. "I want to do something for you. I want to pay for your education. Professional dance. The best school in New York City. And I want you to stop working here as a maid." Maya's eyes widened. "What?" "But I need the job. You will continue to be paid as a scholarship student. I am going to create a program for talented young people who lack opportunities. You will be the first, and you will study. You will become the dancer you deserve to be." Tears came. She tried to hold them back, but couldn't. "Why? Why are you doing this?" "Because you reminded me that I can be better, and I want to be, but I need help. I need to go back to physical therapy. I need to try again. And if you could dance in front of 200 people without ever having a lesson, I can try to walk again. Even if it's just a few steps. I can try." Maya smiled through her tears. "You can do it. I know you can." The following months were transformative. Maya started her dance classes. She discovered she had real talent. She grew. She evolved. She shone. Alex went back to physical therapy. It was painful. It was difficult. The first few weeks showed progress. Small movements, transfers from the chair to the walker, strengthening exercises. He was motivated, determined. But in the 5th week, the pain became unbearable. The doctor said it was normal, part of the process, that his body needed to adapt. But Alex began to doubt. The exercises were brutal. 2 hours a day. Sweat, tears, frustration, and tiny results. He managed to stand for seconds with support. He managed to take 2 steps between the parallel bars, but it cost weeks of suffering. "What for?" he said to his mother one night. "Why all this suffering? To take 3 for steps? I will always need support. I will always depend on the chair for long distances. Son, don't give up now." "I am giving up." "Yes. Enough. I try, but it's not worth it. The pain isn't worth 2 steps." He reached for his phone. "I'm going to cancel the sessions." That's when Maya walked in. She had come to visit him and overheard everything. "You are not," she said firmly. Alex looked at her, surprised. "What? You are not canceling anything. Not after everything." "Maya, you don't understand. The pain is—" "I do understand. Yes. It hurts. It's difficult. It seems like it won't be worth it, but you promised. You promised to try. And people like us don't break promises." She approached. "Do you know how many times I wanted to give up on dancing? How many times I fell in practice and thought, I'm not good enough? But I didn't give up. Why? Because of you." Alex was silent. "You gave me a chance. You showed me that I could be more. Now it's my turn. I won't let you give up. It won't happen." She crossed her arms. "Tomorrow, 8 a.m., I will be here, and we'll go to physical therapy together. And if you can only stand for 30 seconds, great. That's 30 seconds more than yesterday." "Understood." Eleanor Thorne smiled from the corner of the room. This girl was incredible. Alex looked at Maya, at that strength, that determination, and something in him reignited. "All right, 8 a.m. Perfect." She smiled, and the next day she was there, and the next, and the next. Every week she went with him, encouraging him, celebrating every small victory. 10 more seconds standing. 3 steps instead of 2. Transfers without help. It wasn't magic. It wasn't a miracle. It was work, pain, and persistence, but it was working. Little by little, they saw each other every week. He would watch her practices. She would go with him to physical therapy. They became friends, confidants, 2 people who saved each other without realizing it. 6 months later, the Grand Metropolitan Stage in New York City, packed. Maya was making her first professional performance, a solo. She was backstage, nervous but ready. "You can do it," Mrs. Gloria Johnson said, adjusting her costume. "I know," Maya smiled, and then she saw it. In the first row, Alex. He was in his wheelchair, but he had 2 canes resting beside him. Next to him, a radiant Eleanor Thorne and her own mother, Ms. Maria Davis, healthy and smiling. Maya put her hand to her mouth. Alex had brought her mother, given her the best seats, made sure she was there. The lights went out. The music began. Maya walked onto the stage and danced. She danced like never before. Every movement was gratitude. Every spin was overcoming. Every leap was freedom. She told a story with her body, the story of a humble girl who dared to dream, who resisted, who didn't give up, who flew. The audience watched mesmerized, and when she finished, when she took her final bow, the theater exploded in applause. Alex stood up from the chair, supported by the canes, trembling from the effort, but standing, 45 seconds standing, his personal record, applauding, tears streaming down his face, proud, grateful, alive. Maya looked at him, smiled, and did something no one expected. She descended from the stage, walked up to him, and took his hand. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "I didn't do anything. You gave me the chance, the opportunity, the future." Alex shook his head. "No, you achieved all this on your own. I just opened the door. You had the courage to walk through it." They hugged right there in front of everyone. 2 survivors, 2 warriors, 2 people who found each other at the right time. Outside the theater, months later, a new sign gleamed. Maya Davis Institute, School of Dance and Art for Low-Income Youth. sponsored by the Thorne Family Foundation. Alex was sitting there in his wheelchair, but with the canes resting beside him. He could take a few steps now. 10, sometimes 12 on good days. He needed the chair for daily life, for long distances, but the steps were his conquered, and that was enough. Maya was beside him, artistic director, teacher, inspiration. "We did it," she said. "No, Maya, you did it. I just learned from you." He smiled. "I learned that giving up is never an option, that life continues even when it seems impossible, and that sometimes the person we underestimate the most is the one who saves us." She took his hand. "And sometimes the person we think is the villain is just afraid to feel again." They looked at the Institute. Children walking in, dancing, dreaming, having the chance Maya never had, but was now giving to others. And Alex. Alex was no longer the bitter billionaire, no longer the man broken by the chair. He was someone new, someone better, someone who learned that courage is not about never falling. It's about getting up every time you do. Life had taken away his ability to walk, but Maya had given him something much more important, the ability to live. And that dance, that single dance at a charity event, changed two lives forever. Because sometimes all we need is someone to reach out a hand and the courage to accept it. If this story touched you, take a deep breath and think. How many Mayas and Alexes cross our path every day? Who needs your extended hand or your first step today? If you believe that courage transforms lives, hit like now and strengthen this message. Comment here what your recent small great victory was and share it with someone who deserves to hear it. Giving up is not an option. Let's spread this dance of hope together. Your comment can inspire someone. Subscribe to the channel to not miss the next stories and write, "I choose to continue" in the comments. A big hug and see you in the next video.